There's lots of questions that need to be answered, so let's take a look at some of the who's, the when's, the what's, the whys. First of all, this coronavirus. Where does it come from?
It comes from China.
It comes from China.
It comes from China.
Now, the mainstream media would have you believe that this coronavirus came about after a Chinaman ate a fucking bat at a fish market in Wuhan, right? Now, I know it sounds disgusting, it's far away it is. I mean, if you look online, you know, the Chinese will eat absolutely anything. If it's got a pulse, they'll fucking eat it. And let's face it, they've been eating bats and this sort of shit for a very long time. And then now we're led to believe all of a sudden this coronavirus has just appeared, right? I don't believe that. I think that's a load of bollocks. There is another theory. The other theory is that nearby there was a viral testing lab. At this viral testing lab, they were testing no other than coronavirus. Different strands of coronavirus, and then somehow the virus then escaped from this lab into the general population of Wuhan, and then there was human-to-human transmission. For me, I think it's more highly likely that this virus escaped from this lab nearby to Wuhan, rather than some Chinaman eating a bat, which they do every bloody day of the week there. Now, let's take a look at China's initial response to the virus. We know that in mid-November, early November, there were reports of people trying to warn the world of this deadly virus that had been unleashed upon Wuhan, and the Chinese Communist Party were trying to silence these people. We know there was a doctor, Dr. Li Wenyang. He was one of these people. He was one of the whistleblowers. He tried to warn the world that this deadly virus had been unleashed upon us. The communist regime there told him, shut your mouth or you're going to get it. He was visited by the police several times. He wouldn't shut up. He carried on talking about this virus. He really wanted the world to know what was going on. The Chinese government came down on him with an iron fist, real communism. And then they took him away, he was arrested, and then he died of coronavirus. How convenient. Also, there were some videos that were shared online. Katie Hopkins was one of these people who shared these videos of two Chinese blokes out there with their camera phones, and they're taking videos and they're taking photos of what was going on in the city of Wuhan. All the dead bodies that were piling up at the hospital, people falling over sick and ill. There was some serious shit going on there, and the Chinese government didn't want anyone to know about it. Their neighbours said that the police came round in the early morning and booted off their doors, and they were never seen again. Them two gentlemen were taken away and they were never seen again. Silence was the method. That was China's very initial approach. They didn't want this word, they didn't want anyone knowing what was going on. They silenced everybody and took them out. Whilst the Chinese Communist Party were trying to cover up all traces of the coronavirus and going Hillary Clinton style and all whistleblowers, Taiwan was keeping a close eye on what was going on. In fact, Taiwan Centers for Disease Control contacted an arm of the World Health Organization. On the 31st of December, they sent an email airing their concerns as to what was going on in Wuhan. The World Health Organization in return ignored Taiwan. Taiwan then went a step further and contacted China directly with their concerns, and China ignored Taiwan. Taiwan then went another step further and launched their own investigation and sent their own people over to Wuhan to find out exactly what the fuck was going on over there. Their investigations found that there was human-to-human transmission of the virus. Why were Taiwan ignored? So now that China have managed to cover up the coronavirus so far, we skip forward to the 14th of January. China then signed a trade agreement with the US. In the agreement, there is a clause that says if there is an act of God, such as a pandemic, then China wouldn't have to make good on their purchases. I know, really convenient. On the very same day, on the 14th of January, the World Health Organization then tells the world there's nothing to worry about. There's no human-to-human transmission of this virus. I know. How convenient. So now let's fast forward to the 11th of March. The World Health Organization, the very same organization that told the whole world there's nothing to worry about on the 14th of January, they told us there's no human-to-human transmission of the coronavirus. Now, we go into the 11th of March after this trade agreement has been signed between China and the US, and now all of a sudden it's a fucking pandemic. There's over 100 countries in the globe have now been infected with this Chinese virus. Italy has been absolutely smashed. Spain is on its way to getting smashed. And the world is in serious trouble. Between the time of the 14th of January to the end of February, China then consumes a shitload of face masks. In fact, they bought nearly 2 billion face masks. 2 billion face masks China bought. They were buying them from America, they were buying them from South America, from Australia. In fact, they were trying to rape Australia for all its PPE. I see loads and loads of stories online from Australia where, in fact, the Australians in the end stopped packages being delivered to China because they were losing all their PPE. So now there's a global pandemic. Donald Trump stops all flights coming in from China. The left are up in arms. They're going absolutely crazy about what's going on. They're calling him xenophobic and saying that he's causing hatred towards Chinese people. The left are now up in arms. Nancy Pelosi's telling people to go to the local Chinatown and hug Chinese people in solidarity. She's since deleted that tweet. Obviously the most stupidest thing you could come up with. The virus has already hit the US. They're just trying to stem the flow. It's quite bad. And then in Italy, Italy's been absolutely smashed. The European Union, there's no union in the European Union. It was literally every country for themselves. Italy been absolutely annihilated by the virus. In fact, the European Union sent this apology to Italy for their failures.
Yes, it is true that no one was really ready for this. It is also true that too many were not there on time when Italy needed a helping hand at the very beginning. And yes, for that, it is right that Europe as a whole offers a heartfelt apology.
As much as I dislike the European Union, she's spot on there. Nobody was prepared. Nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew the severity of how bad the situation would and could get, because China lied. China lied to the world. China lied from the very beginning, and the World Health Organization helped them cover up the situation, the severity of this virus. Now it's spread throughout the world. People are dying all over the place because China lied. China lied and people died. People in this country now are trying to divert the energy away from China. We've seen our mainstream media, they're not even mentioning China anymore. They're not even mentioning the World Health Organization and the failures and the lies and deception that the whole world has been lied to. They're attacking our leaders. The mainstream media in the United Kingdom are constantly on the attack, attacking the government constantly for failures, saying this, saying that. And the same with Donald Trump in America. They're constantly attacking. Instead of using their energy and saying, we're in this situation, not because people acted too late, because of the information that we didn't have. Because China lied, because China was deceitful. The World Health Organization helped China be deceitful. The mainstream Marxists in this country, the BBC, Sky News, Channel 4, all attacking our government and all attacking Donald Trump, but they're not attacking China. Why? Because they're their comrades. They're all Marxists. They're all dirty, bastard communists. Communists have now they've taken over every organisation you can think of, from the UN, the World Health Organization. There are Marxist ideology everywhere you look. And they're all in this together. They're all dirty bastard communists, and we need to kick communism out. Communism has killed more people in the world than anything you can think of, like any other ideology. It's disgraceful. China needs to be held to account, and China needs to be taken to task. We need to stop trading with China. They can fuck off. Me personally, I'm never buying anything. If it says made in China on it, I ain't fucking buying it. No fucking way. And then there's nothing in my house that's going to say made in China. I threw some stuff out the other day. My girlfriend ordered a book online, and look, it came in from China. I went straight in the fucking bin and straight back out again. Nothing from China should be bought. We should be doing no trade with China. There should be serious sanctions on this shit. And make sure that, if you want cheap labour, this is what the Marxists and communists are all about, aren't they? They make out it's all about, being equal and whatever, but really it's not. It's about sweatshops and having people working their bollocks off for nothing. When we move to another country, we can get our supplies from elsewhere, from India. We can trade with other countries. We don't need to be reliant on China. We can manufacture goods ourselves. And that's what we should be doing. We should be moving those manufacturing jobs back to the United Kingdom. We should be making our own cars. We should be making our own pharmaceutical, drugs and equipment and PPE. We shouldn't be relying on China. We shouldn't be going to the very country that's infected the whole fucking world and then saying to them, oh, can we get some masks? Can we get some PPE? No, we should be producing our own and telling them to fuck off. Anyway, I'm getting really wound up now. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video. But you ain't going to see this sort of stuff on the mainstream media because they don't want to talk about China. They love China. They're Marxist, and their Marxist idea of communist socialism, they're all in it together. They're completely out of dirtbags. But that's pretty much the truth of it as we've gone through. And China needs to be held to account. If you think China needs to be held to account, please share this video. Please get the video out there.